everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. All right, I'm getting ready for a craft show. I'm gonna go set up tonight, but I was wanting to get this video done because I'm gonna make a couple more of these. I found some really cute things I wanted to make, so I thought I'd pop them in there. I don't remember who said they would like to see this. I apologize. I'm not good at writing names down, but I'm going to try to get better. When people say, oh, I'd like to see this or I'd like to see that, I'm going to try to get better at that. However, I am going to show you how I accomplish this. These are a couple that are going to my show, and before I packed them completely away, I thought I'd bring them in. The first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to talk about the clothespins. So I get the clothespins, could be Dollar Tree, could be Walmart, you know, wherever. I pick them up, and obviously you have to dye them. So I use the RIT dark brown. It can be any color you want. If you want purple, you want yellow, you want red, it can be any color you want. I like the brown, I like the look, and those are the ones that seem to do very well at my shows, no matter what I put on them, because I do different papers. Anyhow, I just get out my glass bowl and I fill it with water, and then I just dump dye. I just dump till it looks dark, you know, kind of looks good. So I don't have a measurement for you for this because I just throw it in there. I then take all of my clothespins, throw them in there, just leave them in there. I just start stirring them up a little bit so the ones on the top can get to the bottom to achieve the darkness. If you need to throw a little more dye in there, throw a little more dye in there. And I do this all in my stainless steel sink, or do it someplace where you're not going to get dye if you're afraid to get dye on your countertops and stuff, because this will stain. And then so what I do is I have a stainless steel sink, and then after they're done soaking to the color that I like them, on the side of my sink I have a large pan, a large like baking pan, and I line that with paper towel. Then I just get my tongs and I start taking them out, and then I try to turn them this way. I'll go through and then I'll turn them all this way, just so I'm not, and it doesn't matter because one of these sides is getting covered anyway, so you could turn them like this and then it doesn't matter because that'll get covered. But anyway, I'll let them set there. When they sort of start to get like some of the moisture, I get rid of the paper towel, and then I just set them on the pan, and I usually leave them overnight. I want them dry, 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 dry before I start messing with them. You can also do that with bigger ones. These, I believe I bought this way. And I have done a couple things with these, but I've done the small ones too. And I've put the little embellishments, and these ones are a little more tedious because the paper that goes on here is tiny, but I have done them. They were fun to do. All right, then from there, we've got that done. So then from there, what I'm going to do is now however many I'm making for my stash. Okay, so I do a stash so that if I come back from a craft show, because it is one of my best sellers, and I've sold, you know, all 5 that I took or 6 that I took, usually I can assemble these very quickly and get them together if I have all the pieces in order and ready to go, which I do. Or if I'm just getting ready to start working on things for my craft show, of course I have my stash. All right, so then I go through, I line up, you know, let's just say I have, let's see, 16. I'm gonna do 4. I'm gonna make sure I do 4 packs. I'm gonna go through, I'm going to have all of my clothespins laid out, and then I'm going to go through with my E6000. I'm going to little dot, all over, all 16 of them. Then I'm going to take my magnets, and I'll try to link these in the description box. But then I'm going to take my magnets, and I like to I know it doesn't matter, they're going to stick either way, but I'm like, that's got a good grip there. So when I take it from here, I turn it over and put it where that glue dot is. Take it and turn it over. And I do several of these. Like I said, if I have 16 there, I'm going to do 16. The one thing that you want to keep in mind is when you're setting these to dry, don't put them next to each other, because this is what's going to happen. and then you're going to have to start over. So keep them apart from one another. And I usually just stack them kind of like this, just so I know they're not going to grab to one another when because see, I can feel it right now. It's at least it's the opposite, but anyhow, then I let them dry, and I like to let them dry at least overnight. I think I did these last night at about 6:30, and I just let them, I knew I wanted to do these today, and I didn't want to have to wait for the dry time. So about 6:30, and then I dry them overnight. It's a process, but this is the way I like to do it, just to secure a good product. I don't want to put out anything that's shabby dabby doo-dah. You know, I want it to be, oh, that wasn't nice, because there is a shabby dabby doo-dah channel, and she's great. But I just don't want it to be shabby looking. I want it to last. All right. Then I have my strips. So this is what I'm going to be using. And the strips I also do plenty of. I keep them on hand, and I'll do a bunch at a time. Or if I have scrap paper left over, I'll be like, oh, that'd make a cute clothespin magnet. So I'll just start stashing them in there. And the measurements on these, I have a template, or I'll just take one of the ones I already used. And this came from a 12 by 12 piece of glitter paper from Hobby Lobby. And I'll just lay that on the back side, the white side, and then I'll just line up this, and then I'll just draw a pencil mark, and then that's where I'll cut it. And make sure you're not cutting on this side of that pencil mark, but you're either right on it or on this side, because obviously every time you add a little smidgen, you get it a little wider. So I don't want to do that. But it is about, I will give you the measurement. It is about, it's just about, let's see, 3/8. It's just about 3/8. And that should be good. And then this is 2 7/8. And this seems to work out perfectly. You'll have to maybe adjust yours a little bit. You have to adjust it depending on the clothespin, but it's going to work out perfectly. Then I would go through and just use my art glitter glue and glue everything on. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, and I don't have my red marker here, but I don't like white edges, so I would take my red marker and I would do all of the edges so that we see red. Or if I'm using these, I would ink them. I ink all of my edges. I just think it gives it a little bit of a cleaner, professional look, and I want that for my product. All right, so then I'm just gonna, art glitter glue works for everything. I find it works great on wood. You don't even have to get the wood art glitter glue. I think they have a wood now, and I think they have a fabric one. I don't know, but I just get it, you know, positioned where I want it, and then just get it pressed on there. I just turn it over and press it down, okay, and just press it down. All right, so I would go through and get all 4 of those done. And then what I'm going to be putting on these, so if you're coming to my craft show Saturday, you'll want to look for these, as I thought they were so cute. So I'm going to put these little gingerbread men. Aren't they cute? And then I'll do one red, you know, obviously I'll do these 4 and then these 4. Now when I do these, I use my glue gun, and I think it's a Sheer Bonder fine tip glue gun. I'll run it just straight down there and then position it. And then I'll get the next one and I will position this. I'll kind of set it here so that I can kind of eyeball where that one went. And then that way I can sort of make sure they're in the same, you know, position. So I'll get all of that done. Now, one note to that, make sure that your opening is down here and your top is up here when you go to lay that gingerbread guy. I've done this before, and I've had it facing the wrong way, and I've laid him down here, and oh, poor guy's upside down now. So make sure you have your pinchy part up to the top. And that's why when I lay them down and I get ready to glue them, I look first and lay them all in that position. Then I pick them up and put them down exactly the same way. All right, moving on. This is another thing that I get ready to go and I get in order. So I have lots of them. I ran out, so I did a bunch of these the other day, and I just have these ready to go. So these are the little packaging that they come in. What I do with my examples right here. This is how I'm going to package them for my show. This is a 7 1/4 by 4 1/2. So what I do is I cut everything down the way it needs to be. This one, the topper, is going to be 6 by 4. Okay, so 7 1/4, 4 1/2, 6 by 4. I then go through and score where I want my score lines to be. So this one is scored at 2 inches because it's 4. We're going to do it straight in half. This one is also scored at 2 inches. So when I fold it up, I have 2 inches. Okay. I do that because once you take your crimper, now I have this crimper, and you don't have to add this. This could just be just your paper and your topper. But, you know, again, I want my stuff to look very unique and professional. And I have this little crimper I've had forever, and then I twist it through, and that's how I get that wavy look. The reason you want to put your score marks in there ahead of time is once you've crimped it, it's harder to put that score. Plus, oh, I should have mentioned, I then go in coffee dye. This is another reason why I want my score in there. So I'll go coffee dye a bunch of these, and then when they're all dry, I come back. I do reiterate. I'll make sure my scores, I'll fold them to make sure my score is where it's at. Then I run them through the crimper, okay? Then I've got one ready to go just to kind of speed this along. I'm going to go ahead and set my clothespins up. And obviously when I get all of these done, I'm going to set them up, put them in there, make them look nice and pretty. And then this bag, I believe it came from Uline because I just had some left. This is about 5 3/4, and the length, I couldn't give you a total length on it because I cut these down. So I cut it down to 6. So this is about this tall, and then I cut it down to 6 because I think it just gives it a nicer fit. But it's not gusseted. I'm sure you can find something to put the bag in, or you don't have to do the bag at all. You could just do the topper. Just put your topper, but you do have to find a way to secure this. You could put holes in here and put little ribbons in there to secure that, or you could tape it completely down. Either use your art glitter glue, get these in here first so you've got that folding, that bending, you know, in there. And then you could go ahead and put your topper on that. So you could go ahead and put that up there, and you still have a nice look. I like the look of the bags. I just think if someone's giving them away for a gift, it looks more professional. Anyway, now I've said that 100 times. Okay, now my topper, I'm going to, as you can see, I have a lot of score tape. I have found score tape works the best. I've tried glue and stuff. They come apart. This, I've never had one come apart. In fact, I've had to take some apart, and I've had a hard time getting them apart because I've had to fix something or do something to them. Okay, so as you can see, I have put my score tape at the bottom. I've put one in between that score mark, one at the top of that score mark, one at the bottom, and then 2 on the side, okay? So I'm not going to pull this apart now because I'm not ready to actually put those in there. And I need to get this done so that I can get working on getting my stuff into my vehicle so I can go set up tonight. So what I would do is the first score tape I'm going to pull is this one. And I'm going to get my bag, and I'm going to center it, leaving a little bit on this side and a little bit on this side. I want that center. So if I get that in there first, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of these, and then I'm going to secure at least the top. I'm not going to push these down completely because then I want to turn this over, or however I'm going to get that other score line out of there. Then I'll start to press everything together. Now, if this doesn't grab on the sides, and you can make it longer if you don't, you know, you can make this part longer if you don't want to mess with it like I do. You could always throw, if this score tape doesn't quite grab onto there, you could actually throw a little art glitter glue in there and it's still going to be fine. But mine stick just fine. I don't have a problem. All right. So I think I've covered, oh, nope, one more thing. And then I have a bunch of these made in my computer. I think I did it, I might have done it in a Word doc, don't remember. But I have tons of them printed. They're in a different area because I do use them in other things. But I just go ahead and put my foam tape on, and then I go ahead and position it and put that down. And then I have these beautiful little magnet. Yeah, fridgies or wherever you want to put them. Now, don't skimp on the magnets. Don't skimp on these. Don't think, oh, one's good enough. I mean, you could, but for me, and I tell people this, I use the strong magnets. I use 2 of them because there's nothing worse than putting something on your fridge and it goes whoop, right down the refrigerator because the magnets aren't tough enough to hold it. So don't skimp on them if you're going to be taking them to craft shows. They'll appreciate that. So I hope you have found this helpful, and I'm off to get my stuff together. I will see you in the next one. Bye.